Hi, welcome to Making All the Plans. I'm Connie, and if we haven't met before, I'm a busy mom of 2 active kids, and both my husband and I have full-time careers. My goal is to share with you how I stay on top of all life throws at me in one planner so that you might be able to do the same. Now, this is not my one planner. This is a Hobonichi Cousin, and I will be traveling a bit in June, so I am going to put my June together in my Hobonichi Cousin and see if I actually use it. I do really like the daily pages, but I have not been using the monthly spread or the weekly spreads. This Hobonichi Cousin is a 2024, so I will have to redate. I also have some floral stickers from Freya's Digital Crafts, but I think I'm going to decorate the monthly spread and then also decorate that first page of the month. And then we'll see where we go from there. But I'm not sure that I want to even worry about decorating the weeklies because I'm just not drawn to them. The columns are not wide enough for me to write enough things in them. So I think I'm just going to not worry about those this month. The first thing that I need to do is redate the planner. As I mentioned, this is a 2024. I purchased it because it was a little cheaper than the current year, and I wasn't really confident that I would like the Hobonichi Cousin. So I wanted to pick one up inexpensively and try it out before I made a bigger commitment. And that being said, I am loving the daily pages of the Hobonichi Cousin. I don't use them every day, but it is definitely nice to have a spot to go, a dedicated spot to go, to write out my plan for the day instead of grabbing another notebook or a post-it note or a loose piece of paper to try to plan out my individual day. I did try to do daily spreads in my planner itself, but because I use a full-size planner, an 8.5 by 11-inch planner, I just felt like it was too much real estate and it was too overwhelming, and it caused me to write down too much to do each day, and I just wasn't able to accomplish everything that I wrote down. So that was a little disheartening. I am really liking this smaller size of the Hobonichi Cousin. Since the Hobonichi Cousin has been so successful for me, I do wish that I had purchased a 2025 planner just because it is a pain to redate. I have been whiting out the days of the week throughout the daily spreads so that I'm only having to either rewrite or cover up that day of the week, but it's still a pain to have to worry about that. But because I do not love the monthly or weekly spreads in the Hobonichi Cousin, there just is not enough space for me to write what I like to write and decorate how I like to decorate. I do still plan on having my normal planner next year and then only using the Hobonichi Cousin for the dailies. If anybody knows of a planner that only has the dailies in it and is still the same type of paper, that is really what I would like. And since there was only one straggling day for the month, I did put the first down at the bottom, and that's because I am doing this late and the first is already over. So I just went ahead and put that at the bottom of the page. I'm more likely to need to write in something for the 30th. I am going to decorate this page, put some florals down, make it more me, and I will go ahead and write in all of my plans for the month. While we're flipping back to trim off the excess, I do like how I highlighted things last month, and I wish I had done that on this coming spread as well, but I decided to try dots instead of highlighting. I do still need to put my travel plans down on the planner. I just need to nail down a few more details and then I will come back later and write that stuff in. But for now, I am just writing everything that's on the calendar as it is and putting it into the planner. I'm also going to grab another notebook, a small notebook, to put under the front cover of my Hobonichi Cousin. It just makes it a little easier to write everything in since the monthly calendars are at the beginning of the book. But let's go ahead and finish writing in all of our appointments, and then we'll move on to the next step. Those items that I wrote at the bottom of the calendar underneath the actual calendar items were my kids' typical soccer schedule. These do change from time to time, but for June, they are pretty much the same and consistent, which is nice. But I didn't want to fill the tiny blocks with the lifting and the soccer schedule, so I did go ahead and write that down at the bottom. Again, the other things that need to be added are Ben works with a trainer and a soccer trainer, so we need to work those into the schedule as well. The nice thing is he is able to drive himself and able to help to get his sister to practice and pick up. He prefers not to do those 7 a.m. drop-offs and pickups, but if he needed to, he could. But because we don't have those schedules yet, I did not want to fill anything below those scheduled items with any images. So I did go ahead and use that empty space at the end of the month just to add a little decor. And since I don't really have anything that I like to write in the sidebar here, I am going to go ahead and put some more florals up the side and then drop in a quote, which I just grabbed from my extra leftover sticker book. But I'll start by laying down these stickers and then I will put the quote over top of them. The images that I am using are leftovers from another spread or spreads, so I don't worry about hoarding them. I just go ahead and use however many that I want. That sticker book is getting pretty full, so it would be nice to use a lot of those in my Hobonichi Cousin so that I don't have such a thick sticker book. The only thing about the Hobonichi Cousin is it really doesn't require many images if you are more of a functional planner. I did go ahead and put a tab at the top for June, and then I am going to look ahead at the daily spreads. So as you can see, it's kind of hit or miss whether or not I use the daily spreads. I am going to refer to last month's brain dump to see if there is anything that I need to carry forward, but I do want to put a brain dump down on this first blank page of June. And I am just going to pull from those same stickers from Freya's Digital Crafts to put a little bit of decor on this page. So as you can probably tell from the ghosting on the next page, I have already been using June in the Hobonichi Cousin, but I did want to come back and do this brain dump. It is helpful for me to have this here. I do refer to it as I am putting my daily and weekly spreads together just to make sure that I am pulling in some of those items. I understand that I may not get them all done throughout the month, but I do like to have them here on this page. I do sometimes add to this page. I have tried to keep a brain dump in Notion, and although there are a few items hanging out over in Notion, I prefer to have this handwritten. So I do have it here. I have tried it in another notebook as well. So I'm just trying to figure out where the best place is for this brain dump. I don't feel like the best home for it is in my full-size planner, so I am trying to work that out in my head. I will go back to last month's brain dump and check off all of the things that I did complete, which I was actually surprised how much I completed. I will move over those things that I did not complete, as well as things that I completed that need done again. But here in a second, you'll see that I get a little confused. When you're looking at this page, it kind of looks like there is a grid on this page. Then when you flip to June's brain dump page, it does not look like there are grid lines. So I'm just staring at it thinking, are they just so light that I can't see them? Or are there no lines? So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to keep my bullet items straight. It'll drive me crazy if they're not straight. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Then I flipped to July and I realized that it is blank, but normally I have not written on the next page, so I can see the lines through the page from the next page. Hopefully that makes sense. So right now I cannot see any of the grid lines. So I am going to grab my line stencil from Chrissy Ann's Designs and just draw in some lines. This stencil has the lines spaced 6 millimeters apart. She does have a 5, 6, 7, and then I think the other one is 1/4 of an inch. I didn't think that I had enough brain dump items to run them all the way down the page, but I did want to have a few extra lines in case I thought of other things throughout the month. Once I get the lines written in, I will kind of combine just things that pop into my head and moving things over from May. I have learned that if I don't write down the thing that pops into my head, I may not remember it in 5 seconds. So it is best to just go ahead and write those things down as they pop into my brain and then move the other items over, which also triggers other thoughts. But let's go ahead and get this brain dump compiled. So I will come back and add more things in if I think of them, but I did drop a little bit more of the decor down, and then we will flip through what I've done so far in June. On the first, I did not write out a to-do list. Instead, I was feeling like I hadn't accomplished anything all weekend, so I wrote out a to-do list, and I really felt much better about myself. Then I have a lot of later lists with one page and then a scribbled down note. And then I do have another tab at the top of where I am currently. But let me jump back real quick and talk about that later list for a second. I only use my Hobonichi Cousin when I'm at home. I do not take it to work with me. And since I go to work on Tuesdays and Thursdays normally, I have those days blank. And instead of just leaving it unused, I have been using it as a later list. So I write down, it's kind of like a mini brain dump, but I write down my ideas of the things that I want to get done on the current day. And then anything else that I think of that doesn't fit on that day, I put on my later list. And that could be work items, personal items, making all the plans, things for the kids, anything that doesn't fit into that day. I just write it down on the later list so it's not constantly nagging me in my brain as I'm trying to get those things done that I have identified as priorities for the day. But that is my setup for June. Again, this is a supplemental to my main planner. I do try to keep everything in my big planner if possible, but I just realized that the dailies are better kept in my Hobonichi Cousin. But because I am traveling this month, I did go ahead and do the monthly spread layout again. But I hope that everyone is having a great start to their June. If you are using your Hobonichi Cousin, let me know down below if there is anything that you have adjusted to make it work better for you. But if you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!